tell. Now this little crotch is a piece of poplar. Now I haven't done much, in fact I haven't turned poplar before, which is kind of strange because it's a very common wood in the Northern Hemisphere. But a good friend of mine at Goodwood UK sent me this through to see what I could do with it. Now it's obviously got some spalting in the piece, which I'm very much looking forward to uncovering. But we do have one small problem. We've got a bit of rot in the crotch area here, and it does seem, well, yeah, it does seem incredibly soft. So no matter what we do, we're going to have to try and avoid that area. Now, one thing that instantly springs to mind with this is another winged piece. Now, I know I've done a few recently, but I do enjoy doing them. They're a lot of fun, and they can come out really, really nicely. So, first of all, let's just see what kind of size bowl we can fit in there whilst avoiding that little bit. Reasonable size. Let's make that mark. Okay, I'll just pencil that in so we can see it clearly. Okay, so that's the kind of size bowl we can get out of it. But with it being a winged one, we're going to try and leave a lot of these extremities on. Now that one is quite a reasonable way out, and that could give us some nasty vibrations. So whether or not we end up just trimming that a little bit, we'll have to wait and see. Now, my intention initially is to mount this with a worm screw in that hole, get it on the lathe that way, and then start creating the outside. This should be fun. Okay, we're on the lathe. It is very much out of balance, as you would imagine, and we'll see how we get on and decide whether or not we need to do anything about it. Now we've also got a crack going along this top edge, which goes in about 1/2 inch, and I was thinking of using that as a guide for where the top of the bowl is going to come out of the wing. So the bottom of the wing is going to be about 1/4 inch below that. Now when I was putting the tailstock in, it did go in quite easily, so this is obviously definitely soft in areas, so it's going to be an interesting turn, but we'll see how we get on. Right, let's see how much vibration we've got. Some weld to the side. Okay, I can get up to about 580, something like that, which is a reasonable place to start. I'll go and sharpen up and we shall begin. Okay, all sharpened up. Now ideally I want to try and reduce some of the weight from these top areas, so I'm going to start working in these top bits, getting this down, and that may allow us to start picking up the speed. It's also going to give us a good indication of how rotten this wood is. Okay, all right. That's quite bizarre. We're almost up to our maximum point already on that bit, so we'll stop there for that and start working in a little bit. There's very little resistance against the gouge, so this is obviously, well, you can see it, it's absolutely rotten. See if we've made any headway. We've got a bit of decent wood there. That's it pretty much so far. Okay, there may be hope, there may not be. This area here looks absolutely horrible. That's going to have to come in further. We may have to revise the size of our bowl on the top. Okay, we're not quite at the throwing away stage yet. Okay, we can work with that, that's good. Excellent, right. Let's take this bit up to meet the wing. There's a lot of concentration there, and my tongue sticking out and everything. Okay. Right, I think a little bit more. Start coming back a bit and see if I can create, oh god, tenon or recess. Right, let's get rid of this bit and then I'll figure out whether I'm using a tenon or a recess. I think I'm going to have to stay with, I don't know, what's going to be safer on this, a tenon or a recess? The wood isn't great. If you have a tenon sticking out and it is too soft, then because this is out of balance, it could just tear away. So I think a recess is going to be safest. So with that in mind, I'll do a bit of work. Do a bit more work on here to get this smooth, and then I'm going to have to take the tailstock away so I can get into there. Nearly gone. Okay, I'm going to quickly check, see if my worm screw's holding up. So the last thing I want to do is rely on it. It's okay, it's not wobbling. Right, okay. Right, let's test it. Okay, I think we can trust the worm screw. So I'm going to quickly put a recess in here, work up these sides, and I've got a better angle at it without the tailstock. And then I'm going to bring the tailstock back in, I think, just for the few final touching up areas before we start sanding. Now, I know we've got an awful lot of meat still on this side, but that's all going to be taken away. So we're quite, see this crack here, it goes down to about there. So this, when we turn it round, it's going to come to about there, I think. I can't take this up any further, otherwise this crack's going to be into the wing, and I don't want that. Right, recess in. Okay, I've got a nice healthy sized recess, so I can get a pretty decent grip on that when I turn it round. So I'm just going to create a small foot on here, work up the sides, and then we'll do a bit of tidying up and get ready for sanding. Lovely. Right, I shall set up for sanding. As usual, I'll let you watch a little bit of it, and I shall bring you back when it's done. Okay, not the easiest thing in the world to sand, but we got there in the end. Some absolutely amazing figure in this spalting. Unfortunately, spalting goes hand in hand with softer wood, so there were a few areas that I had to spend a bit of extra time dealing with, and that's quite nice. Right, I'm going to put just a very, very light coating of shellac on it, just to hopefully firm up the wood a little bit, and then we'll turn it around and do the other side. I'm going to finish it all at the end together, so I just want something nice and light just to protect it for now. At one point I was thinking of throwing this away, but I'm glad I didn't. It's looking quite nice. Right, okay, we'll get this turned around and we'll do the same to the other side. Okay, we turned round. We've got a few things to bear in mind. We've got this crack going all across this side, so hopefully the wing is going to be below the bottom of this crack, which is there, so it's going to be a nice thin wing. We've got still this punky area here. Hopefully most of that will turn away. I think what I'll do first of all is flatten off this top, because we've got a fair bit of deviation in the height. So I'll get this all flat, then we'll mark where the bowl is, and then we'll start working in the wings. Turning speed, we can't get particularly fast in this orientation. We're going to be starting about 570. If there's any surprises, nothing yet. We're still not quite touching this bit, but the rest of it is looking pretty flat. Right, I'm just going to get a pencil. Right, I'm just going to mark where the top of this bowl is, or the top of this bowl will be. I'm going to start, well, first of all I'm going to just take this bit in here down, just so I know I can clearly see it, and then start working in from these edges until we've got rid of this crack. Stopping for a quick check to see where we are. It's coming down nicely. Where's my crack there? Right, I'm just starting to get to the top of the crack there. So I've still got half an inch to go. And that crack's down to there. So we're definitely getting closer. And that soft area, I think it's going to go most of the way through this corner, so but I think we can sort that once we've got this top edge down. I'm going to take a few more passes with the ball gouge, and then I think I'll switch to my scraper to take it the final way. Still just this little bit of a crack, not much left, so I'll carry on going with the scraper. It's giving us a nice surface, that's good. hopefully that should be that. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so let's start hollowing this out. I'm going to leave the tailstock in for as long as I can, because remember we're just holding on a recess on some slightly punky woods, softer woods, so we want to stay as safe as we can for as long as possible. Take a quick look to see, make sure we're not running into any nightmares. Oh wow, this spalting is absolutely gorgeous. It's so nice. Okay, all looks good. We shall continue. Let's quickly go and sharpen up again. Okay, it's time for the tailstock to come away. We'll do some final cuts, even up the surface. Obviously, get rid of this little bit first. Okay, I've just altered the tool rest so it's as close to the centre as I can get it, close to the surface as I can get it. Just helps stop vibrations for a cleaner cut. Okay, I can afford to take a bit more depth out of this, but I don't want to go too far because I need a bit of weight at the bottom of the bowl because we've got these quite large extremities and I don't want it to be unbalanced, as it were. I don't want it too easily to topple. So I'll just take a little bit further and then we'll start doing some finishing cuts, sort out this lip and then start sanding. Okay, I think that's going to do us absolutely fine. Happy with that. Right, I'm just going to do a quick couple of cleaning up cuts just on this rim here. The top is not too bad. I need to have a bit of a pick around with this, get rid of all the rotten wood, and then we can start sanding. Okay, before I start sanding this, I'm just going to shove a bit of shellac on these areas just to firm them up a little bit to make it easier to sand, get clean sanding on there. Right, just quickly do that. Right, I think no amount of shellac's going to do this any good, so I'm just going to quickly blow this out and then get my Dremel out with a little carving tip and just clean up that hole. Okay, I've put some safety glasses on and I've just got a little grinding tip just to help me clear out this hole. should do it. I'm also available for dental work in case you're interested. Right, I shall set up for sanding. I'll let you watch a bit of it as usual. I shall bring you back when we're done. Okay, I've got through the first lots of grits on this, but I've come across quite a few soft areas that kind of need addressing in a slightly more stringent way. I've got a hole now all the way through the lip, which is absolutely fine because it looks nice and rustic. But what I'm going to do before I go through to the finer grits is give this a good coat of shellac to try and help firm up the wood in some of these areas so we can get a better finish on it. We'll be letting this dry and then doing the final bits. It's part of the joys of turning spalted wood. You have to take the rough with the smooth, unfortunately, but she'll be fine. Okay, we'll let this dry. I'm going to finish up the sanding and I'll bring you back when we're putting the final finish on it. Okay, there we are, all nicely finished. Now we're going to put a Danish oil finish on this. I do like Danish oil for very natural rustic pieces like this. It dries hard, it's waterproof, and it is food safe as well. So the way we're going to do this is we're just going to decant a little bit of the Danish oil into a cup, and then I'm going to apply it using a brush. Now you can apply it with a cloth or a sponge as well, but please bear in mind that the material itself, the Danish oil, is exothermic. In other words, that it can get hot and it can spontaneously combust, meaning that if you do leave cloths around with the Danish oil still wet in it, it has the potential to catch fire. So please be careful with that. Now I'm going to use a brush, and after I finish with the brush I'm going to clean it properly and make sure any excess is gone. I'm going to start off with a nice light coat over the whole piece. We'll let it dry for about 7 or 8 hours and then we'll apply another coat. Please look at the instructions on whatever Danish oil you use to see how long it takes to dry. I'm using Liberon's Superior Danish oil, which has fast drying agents in it. So it only takes 6 or 7 hours to dry. Some can take up to 24 hours. If you put it on too soon, the second coat or third coat's on too soon before it is dry, then you end up getting a very, very sticky surface, and I'm sure you don't want a sticky surface. Between the coats, I'm going to be giving it a light going over with a bit of very, very fine wire wool. Right, I'd also like to mention at the time when this video goes live, on that evening, I'm going to be putting a few bowls on eBay if anybody is interested. I've been asked a few times about selling pieces, and I don't usually, by rule of thumb, set out to sell what I make, but if people want to buy it, then I do sell it. So anyway, I'm going to put a few pieces on eBay. There'll be no reserve auctions, and if you'd like to get one for Christmas, then we can guarantee that hopefully they'll be with you by then. I will offer international postage, so no matter where you are. Hopefully you'll be able to get something if you want it. I'm just going to put a few pieces to start off with. I've never really tried anything like that before, and if it goes well, then I'll put a few more on as well. Links to the auctions will be in the description of this, and also on social media as well. Now when this is a chance to sit for about 20-25 minutes, I will come back out here and just give it a wipe over with cloths, just to get away any excess. But of course those cloths will be disposed of very carefully. Right, that's that. Right, can we play the waiting game? Four coats of Danish oil later, and we've got a beautiful preserved spalted winged natural edge bowl made from poplar. This has really been really fun to make. I know I've made a couple of these recently, but they really are turning into my favourite style at the moment. I love making them. It's a fascinating process, and they always seem to come out so beautifully in kind of a unique way. You never get two quite the same because of the shape of the wood. The spalting, we had a few problems with the softer areas, but we know techniques to work around those. Luckily it wasn't too far gone, so it's more than salvageable. And I think the extra benefit of this kind of natural worn away area now just adds to the whole look and feel of the bowl. Massive thanks to Dean from Goodwoods UK who sent me this piece. I bought an awful lot of him in the past. He has a shop on eBay where I buy a lot of my woods from. If you remember those black locust pieces, I got those off him as well. So I've had an awful lot of wood. I've still got an awful lot of wood here still left to turn from him. I'll leave a link to his eBay shop in the description below. Probably not worthwhile if you're outside the UK, but people in the UK, it's a good source of fairly cheap timber. It is wet mostly what he sells, but if you use the twice turned method, then you're going to be absolutely fine. It's a good source to get some nice woods and get it relatively cheaply. Right, so that's pretty much it for this week. Don't forget that I do have the eBay listings going live tonight at 8 PM. I'll put a link to all those listings in the description below. I've found 3 pieces to sell from previously turned bowls on the channel. The bidding is going to start at 99 pence or something like that, and we've offered international postage as well. Like I said, I don't usually sell my stuff. That's not what I'm about, but I've been asked so many times to sell pieces that I've decided to let these go, and we'll see how it goes. If these go well, then I'll happily put up a few more. Any money generated from the sales will obviously be put back into the channel to keep it going, get some more wood, get some more equipment, and we'll keep making videos like that. So that's it. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please feel free to like and subscribe and all the usual things. And if you leave a comment as well, then you're going to be entered into the giveaway when we next do one. We've just finished one for 20,000 subscribers. I'm not quite sure exactly when the next one will be, but if you do leave a comment, then you are going to be entered. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed, and I'll see you next time.